Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here, the Watchman. We're back in the studio. We just got back from Jamie Walden's Warrior Summit out in High Hill, Missouri. Over 200 people gathered in person. It was wonderful. We had fellowship, we had worship, we had restoration, man. It happened. And we're urging all of you to stand strong and get back out there as the remnant body and gather with one another, share with one another, be part of the family. Now listen, go to hearthewatchmen.com. Get there today, September 25th. We will be releasing our first virtual conference and hopefully our last virtual conference. Huge lineup of speakers. You can watch, you get it for $39, you get it 6 months access, plus you get the Dallas Remnant Warrior Conference recordings for 6 months as well. So get on there, just go to our website. You'll see the Igniting the Fire, the Ultimate Solution picture. Click on that, it'll take you right in there. Get signed up today. Now today on the show, we have a friend of mine who's doing some incredible work. It's Dave from Destiny Labs. And what Destiny Lab is they put on some music, some incredible music, truth music. And they're sharing it out there across the board. They've been on Skywatch TV. They're dear friends with Derek and Sharon Gilbert, Gon Shimura, the Fall Brothers, all of the Hear the Watchman guys are tuning in to what Dave's doing. Dave, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Mike. It's a pleasure to come on. Appreciate it.
So Dave, tell me, we've all been sort of roadblocked by this coronavirus or whatever you want to call it, the pandemic that's been pushed upon us all out there. And you guys have been hit by that, but what are you doing now? Tell us what's coming up and explain to us what Destiny Lab is and how it got started.
Well, we started back in actually the late 90s creating this music, but officially formed the name Destiny Lab in 2004. And I kind of had a full circle turnabout with my life. I was raised a Christian, but I got kind of deceived into the alien deception and some of the new age kind of ideas for a few years there, and got deep into investigating the alien deception and all the connections, and also investigating the creation evolution debate and see what it had to say about it. And through studying all these abduction experiences, I kept seeing this reoccurring theme of people repeating these same ideas of, we're all evolving. The alien brothers are come to help us evolve and ascend into gods. And I kept hearing this repeating pattern in these new age ideas that we are God. And I thought, man, that sounds really familiar. I remember, back when I had in Genesis, and they taught that is what the serpent deceived Eve with. If you eat of this fruit, ye shall be as gods. And so I just started really putting the pieces of the puzzles together and digging deep into these things from a biblical perspective. Investigating the fallen angels and the Nephilim, and digging into people like Chuck Missler and Kent Hovind and Answers in Genesis and Gary Bates and of course Derek and Sharon and all these amazing researchers that were out there investigating these things. And I just felt, I guess this was actually way back in the 90s before I knew of them, but I knew of Kent Hovind and Chuck Missler. And I also got my hands on a book called The Omega Conspiracy, I believe it was called, by a guy named I.D. Thomas. And he presented these ideas as that this was all the fallen angels, the Nephilim, and he connected a lot of these dots for me. And so I felt really compelled and almost convicted to somehow present this information in a unique way, because I knew there was a Christian hip hop industry. And I liked making hip hop, but I would never wanted to do it for a living necessarily. I'm kind of I don't like necessarily being the center of attention and on stage and doing all that, but I felt compelled to make this music. And so I started just making it on the side with some friends, and then, really started pushing it, trying to officially create a name of Destiny Lab, and tried to actually get signed with labels for several years. And I couldn't work any of that out. And come to find out, not really, the Christian hip hop industry isn't really into digging deep into, you know, anything that is at all controversial. So I didn't have a chance of doing that. So I had to do this all independently. So I officially started independently releasing CDs, and I had so much music this first that I released a double CD, and then I put out another CD, and now we have our fourth CD. You know, it's been a long time coming. We have a fourth CD now being released October 1st called Shift Your Paradigm, and it kind of really puts all the pieces of the puzzle of how all these ancient ideas of the original sin, the fallen angels, and the alien deception, the New Age, the occult, all these kind of things tie into also transhumanism and the deceptions we're seeing with technology, and how I believe that will be the ultimate end game. So this kind of puts a lot of these pieces of the puzzle together biblically. I've worked a lot with people like Gon Shimura and the Fall Brothers, making music for their documentaries, Age of Deceit, as well as Higher Entities by the Fall Brothers. So it's been just a blessing to be able to work with these guys and get this music out there in a unique way, and spread this message. Because there's a lot of times people won't sit down and watch, a kid won't sit down and watch a 3-hour documentary of Age of Deceit, but they may listen to a 3-minute song by Destiny Lab, and that may be the link in the chain to eventually get them there. So that's our hope, is to be that link in the chain to get people to investigate these things for themselves, and to ultimately find the solution through Christ. I mean, that's the ultimate solution with all of our music, is leading people toward Christ, toward a relationship with Jesus, and seeing that that's the ultimate key that we all need. So that's it in a nutshell.
Amen, man. That's exciting stuff, you know, and you know, you're doing the Lord's work, and you're doing it with your music, which is a wonderful vehicle to reach people, as you said. I mean, it's hard. People can't sit through a 3-hour documentary, but you're right. They can listen to a 3-minute song, no problem. You know, now you've been described as putting out truth music. What does that really mean?
Well, the word truth is, you know, that's kind of a tricky word nowadays, because a lot of people have hijacked that word for themselves, you know. So truth is in a lot of people's eyes relative. You know, you make your own truth, and we can create our own reality with things like the law of attraction and The Secret and all these witchcraft ideas that are pushed nowadays. So, but ultimately we try to tell people, we have a song called No Absolutes with a question mark. Are there no absolutes? And I ask people that, you know, do you believe that there is an absolute truth? Not that any of us know it or that I can prove it, but that there is one absolute truth. And many times when people say, no way, no, there are many truths. I create my own reality. Whatever's true for you may be true for you, but what's true for me is true for me based on what I believe. And I'll be like, well, how sure are you of that? I'm like, well, I'm very sure. Like, are you absolutely sure? You know, because that's ultimately what it is, are you absolutely sure that there are no absolutes? Because ultimately there is one truth, and that is the one truth that we should all be seeking, and that's the truth that we are promoting. So truth music in a way is trying to reclaim that name and bring it back to a biblical foundation, because there's a lot of groups out there, like I said, that use this word, and so we want to reclaim that for Christ, you know.
Well, now, you know, again, it's exciting what you're doing. Are you finding that you're able to reach some of the younger generation with music and bring them to Christ?
Yeah, actually we have. It's really amazing how many people have contacted us, both young and old. And the thing that's interesting about our music is the older generation, or people that don't even like rap music per se, you hear rap, you ultimately are repelled by that. But once you listen to the lyrics, you see that this is absolutely, like I said, truth music. It's all biblically foundation. There's no, you know, curse words. There's nothing to be afraid of that route. And it brings people together, like literally, like I've had parents, grandparents, and kids all be brought together as a family because of the music, because it's the one thing they can all relate to and think it's great. The kids like the sound of it. and the parents and grandparents see the message and want that to be told to their kids. So when they're memorizing these words and bringing that in, that works. That really has an impact. And we've even I had a guy who was a self-proclaimed Satanist challenge me to what's called a rap battle. And I was very, put off by this at first, and I kind of prayed about it, and I went and did it. And we have this there's a video of it, Satanist versus Christian rap battle, on our Destiny Lab YouTube page. And actually you can hear the song, and the guy ended up on his knees repenting and asking Christ for forgiveness. And this is a self-proclaimed Satanist. So it's incredible how God can use whatever he wants to, and it wasn't me, it wasn't my words, it was God putting this person in this place at this point, and me just basically, believing in the Holy Spirit and letting him do the work. So it was an incredible experience.
And what a great testimony that is. And especially if you look at the times that we're in, Dave, where you're right, you mentioned the word rap and everybody freaks out like, oh no, because we've just got this horrific time in the nation when we're battling one another, burning down cities. Who knows what's going on with these fires? There's rumors, we don't know. I mean, that's about it. We don't really know the truth yet.
Yeah.
But it always comes out. But I mean, the thing is, if you can use your music to kind of get the message out there to some of these younger people who are so confused and so delusioned right now at everything that's going on in the country, what a wonderful, wonderful job that you're doing. And it's a task, it's a task that a lot of us wouldn't be willing to take on. And it's exciting to see you do that. Now, was there a moment in your life that you feel that God called upon you to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I said, full circle. It's all the things that I went through, and I believe it was all intended for God's glory, because it brought me, I had to go through these things to see how deceptive they were, and for it to bring me the realization and the conviction to do this, because I didn't want to necessarily do it. I never set out to make rap music as a living or anything like that. And I don't even like performing. I'm not hardly in any of our music videos because I don't want it to be about me. To me, it's all about the message, not the messenger. So, I'm almost 50 years old too. So it's been a long time coming for this to get to this point, but it's all in God's timing. I was telling you earlier, this album that we're putting out was supposed to be out over a year ago. And we had so many obstacles, just personal issues going on with me and Genetics, who's my partner that makes my beats. We just couldn't get it finished up. But now I see it's all in God's perfect timing to have this music released at this point in time, because you're right. There's so many people disillusioned out there, young people searching for answers. And as believers, this should be a great time of revival, because there's so many people who are seeing these things externalized to the point that it's not, you can't ignore it anymore. A lot of people like to keep their head buried in the sand about spiritual issues, but now we're seeing so many prophetic things come to fruition. We're seeing the season. We don't know the day and the time, but we know the season, and we're seeing the leaves begin to fall, and the season of the prophecy begin to unfold. And I think there's so many people who want answers, and this is why they join things like Antifa. That's why they take to the streets, is because they're almost like they're LARPing. I don't know if you know what LARPing is, but it's live action role playing. It's like these kids that dress up as their favorite comic characters and go to Comic-Cons and they play a role to feel like they're part of something, or, bigger than themselves, because they don't have a relationship with God. They just believe they're primordial slime from evolution, just a bunch of monkeys. There's no right or wrong. And so they want something to believe in, and they're replacing God with these LARPing games out in the streets, pretending like they're part of something, when really most of them don't even know why they're there. They're just there to have fun and make a scene and create anarchy. So it's, and the enemy is there to present this thing, create Hegelian dialectic of one versus the other, red versus blue, black versus white, gay versus straight, all these things to make us battle and hate each other and try to present the order out of chaos. They want to present the solution that they created long before this problem ever started, which is these vaccines, and ultimately the mark of the beast, which is all this stuff is training wheels for, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, Dave. I mean, there is so much going on out there, so much disillusion. And, if we can just get people to come to Christ and come to the answer, I mean, the answer is, he and biblically, they don't want us to be afraid. And folks, you need to not be afraid. I mean, there's lots of stuff out there. There's all kinds of doom and gloom out there. If you go online, you can spend all day immersed in it. Don't do that. Go and listen to the music like Dave's putting together. Go into the Bible. Find your peace there. It's not online. Dave, now you're going to release this new album, and you say that's going to be sometime in October. How do people find you and find your music so that they can avail themselves of what you have to say?
Yeah, we have a website, just destinylab.com, which has all our music and all of our things there. And then we also have YouTube, youtube.com/destinylab. And I also do a podcast with my brother called Digging for the Truth with Ark and Neo, where we dig into a lot of these same subjects even more. And so all that is available through our YouTube and webpage. But right now we've got a special, the Shift Your Paradigm album comes out October 1st. If you pre-order it right now, you get a free sticker and an additional 30-song download of some collaborations and remixes that I've done with other artists over the years. So you get those 30 songs plus the 18 new songs on Shift Your Paradigm. And if you want to order all 4 of our albums, if you don't have any of our music, if you want to order all 4 of our albums, you'll get that 30-song download and a free sticker thrown in. And that's 100 songs total for $40. You can get a Destiny Lab. So yeah, we really appreciate the support. We just want to get the music out there, have it shared with people. And once you get it, make copies, share it with people, post it. We allow people to really spread the word because we just want it to get out there. So
that's amazing. God bless you for what you're doing. Now that's destinylab.com.
Correct. Yep.
Destinylab.com, folks. Get on there. Take a look around. Go to the light right now. Don't get so consumed by the darkness out there. Go into the light and be a part of the solution, not the problem. Dave, I want to thank you for taking time to be with us today. We're looking forward at Hear the Watchman to working with you guys in the future here. We do have an in-person conference, folks, coming up in, of all places, Orange County, California. That's November 5th, 6th, and 7th, right after the elections. We are on. We're doing it. We're going there. If we have to go outside at the hotel, we'll go outside at the hotel. Go to our website, hearthewatchman.com. Check it out there. Dave, again, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Mike.
Well, listen, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Watchman's Report. We'll be back with you tomorrow, interviewing a very special person who wrote a book that I'll talk to you about tomorrow. And he's coming to us all the way from Israel. So tune in tomorrow and we'll get you dialed into some interesting information from Israel. So as we always say here on the Watchman's Report, remember, there's nothing that you can't do with Jesus in your heart, except nothing at all. Get out there, get busy, activate your faith now more than ever. And we'll see you next time here on the Watchman's Report.